Welcome to the class, my dear student. How are you all? Hope you are fine. Look at these pictures. Reading is my favorite hobby, and he said that reading was his favorite hobby. And do you find any difference in these structures? Yes, the way of speaking, right? And today's topic is speech, direct and indirect. Learning outcomes is end of the lesson. The students will able to identify speech, narration, and identify the classification of speech and narration. Change speech from direct to indirect. Narration or speech. What is narration or speech? Narration, the action or process of narrating a story. Narration comes from Latin verb word narrare, which means to tell, and speech, the expression of or the ability to express thoughts and feelings by articulate sounds. Classification of speech and narration. See these pictures, okay? Fine. Direct speech and indirect speech. See, the definition is direct speech, the reporting of speech by repeating the actual words of a speaker, and reported speech and indirect speech, a speaker's words reported in subordinate clause and governed by a reporting verb with the required change of person and tense. So now let's have a look at this direct speech and reporting speech. We also call direct speech as a reporting speech, that the reporting of a speech may repeating the actual words of a speaker, and a reporting speech is the statement of this person who reports about something. For example, he said, I will go. He told that he would go. The common features of the direct speech. The actual speech of a speaker with an inverted comma, and see the actual word is I will go, and the actual word of speakers within inverted comma. We use said to report someone's words and statement, and before inverted comma we use comma. See, there is a comma, okay? More example. The teacher said to you, you are a good and clever boy. Moin said to him, I am sick and cannot attend the meeting. He will say, I shall do the work tomorrow. He said to Ratul, you were mere a boy when I saw you last. Jahid said, man must submit to destiny. Dolly said to me, I want to go to school now. You said to me, you do not do your duty. These all sentences are the example of direct speech, and you see all are in the inverted comma and also use commas. Let's have a look on indirect speech, reported speech. Indirect speech also mentioned as reported speech. A speaker's word reported in subordinate clauses governed by a reporting verb with the required changes of person and tense. For example, he said that he would go based on I will go, right? And see, there is, look closely, that a speaker's word reported in subordinate clause. So speaker's words is reported in subordinate clause, and see the conjunctions and or linker that is used. Half of the sentence is subordinate clause. So governed by a reporting verb. See, the governed by, this one is said is reporting verb is governed by, because why? That I will go turn into he would go. More example, he will say that he will do the work the next day. He told Ratul that he was mere a boy when he had seen him the previous. Jahid said that man must submit to destiny. Dolly told me that she wanted to go to school then. You told me that I did not do my duty. Now read the following direct and indirect speech forms and notice that we need to consider in changing direct speech into indirect. So what we need to consider here, and see, this direct speech is he said I am ill. Indirect speech, he said that he was ill. So now work in pairs, and to identify the areas where changes have occurred in direct speech, and then have a close look at the indirect speech to note the changes, and the changes have been shown in italics. Okay. He said, I am ill, and the indirect speech will be he told that he was ill, and we have to consider in changing direct speech to indirect. Say, I changed to he, that used as a linker, and am changed to was. Say, he said, I am ill, and he told that he was ill. Have a look at the following direct speech. He said to me, my father calls me. And this sentence is in direct speech, and there is the name of the word's position, say he. Subject to the reporting verb, said to reporting verb, and me is object to the reporting verb. Now let's have a look this direct speech. It is direct speech, cause verb of the reported speech, subject of the verb in direct speech, object to the verb in the direct speech. Have a look at the following indirect speech. He told me that his father called him. Now see the position, that subject to the reporting verb. Reporting verb told is reporting verb. Me is object to the reporting verb, that used as linker. And the whole sentence is reported speech. His father called him, and his father is subject of the verb in speech, called verb of the reported speech. Him, object to the verb changes also. Some more features. Different parts of a direct speech have different names. I have already shown that although the changes occur differently in case of 5 different kinds of sentences, such as assertive, interrogative, imperative, optative, exclamatory, and tenses, and some general rules apply to all of them. One thing should be kept in mind, that there are some common things such as tenses, persons, and words indicating change in the time and place. Tense change. As a rule, we report something that someone has said and we go back to tense, and the tense on the left changes to the tense on the right, and say that the direct speech and indirect speech. Present simple. She said it is cold, and this sentence is present simple. Now see that she said that it was cold. Present continuous. She said I am teaching English in online. Past continuous. She said that she was teaching English in online. And present perfect. She said I have been in school since 1999. Past perfect. She said that she had been in school since 1999. Present perfect continuous. She said I have been teaching in this school for 7 years. Past perfect continuous. She said that she had been teaching in school for 7 years. Tense change. As a rule, we report something that someone has said, we go back to tense, and the tense on the left changes to the tense on right. This sentence all are direct speech, and this sentence all are indirect speech. And say the past simple. She said I taught in many schools. I taught in many schools. This sentence is past simple. And say the change. She said that she had taught in many schools. And this sentence, the she had taught in many schools, is past perfect. Past continuous, she said I was teaching earlier. And past perfect continuous, she said that she had been teaching earlier. Past perfect, she said the lesson had already started when he arrived. And no change. Past perfect, she said that the lesson had already started when he arrived. See, there is a change only you use only linker, right? But the tense, no change. Past perfect continuous. She said I had already been teaching for 5 minutes. No change past perfect continuous. She said that she had already been teaching for 5 minutes. And see, this one is I have already been teaching for 5 minutes, and this one is past perfect continuous, and this one is she had already been teaching for 5 minutes. You only use linker. There is no change of tense. Modal verbs form also sometimes change. The following table shows how the modal in direct speech are changed in indirect speech. Will, would, can, could, must, had to, shall, should, may, might. See, now I will read out this sentence that she said I will teach English online tomorrow. She said that she would teach English online the following day. She said I can teach English online. She said that she could teach English online. She said I must have a computer to teach English online. She said that she had to have a computer to teach English online. And she said, what shall we learn in this lesson? She asked what they should learn in that lesson. She said, may I open a new account? She asked if she might open a new account. And there is no change to could, would, should, might, and ought to. Expression of the time if reported on a different day. Direct speech this evening, morning, night, etc. Indirect speech that evening, morning, nights. And these days in direct speech and indirect speech is those days, now, then, a week ago, a week before, next week, the following week, today, that day, tomorrow, the next day. Started the previous day, last night, the previous night, last weekend, the weekend before, last, the previous weekend. Change speech from direct to indirect. Assertive sentence. Direct speech, the teacher said to him, you are a good and clever boy. Indirect speech, the teacher told him that he was a good and clever boy. And you see, in direct speech, the comma and inverted comma omitted in indirect speech that. And said, become told. In reported speech, the pronoun often changes. You change to he. Homework. The teacher said to Camellia, you must listen to what your parents say. He said, I know the answer to these questions. The teacher said, the moon shines at night. Farid said to me, you are not sincere and therefore I do not trust you. My friend said to me, I have already finished my work. Salim said to me, I was ill. My father said to me, we are going there tomorrow. The teacher said, time and tide wait for none. He said, I have been working since sunrise. The teacher said to the students, the more you read, the more you learn. Hope you enjoyed this class, and if you like this video, then like, comment and share and subscribe now.